Why does intermittent fasting work so well with higher fat diets? Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And there's a reason I personally do this, and it's, again, having experimented a lot, one of the things that I have found, particularly as my metabolic rate has gone up, as I've become a bigger lifter, and I need so many calories, what I actually find is that because I prefer to eat clean, clean eating with really high carbs with the fasting is just simply impractical. And what I mean is because I end up getting so much gastrointestinal distress. And I know other people who report the same thing, so it's not just me, because I do think if you're going to eat a higher carb diet, like the chicken, broccoli, brown rice type diet is really ideal. It's really ideal. Of course, if you want some fats in there, some avocados work really well. The only problem we run into is that if you have really high energy needs, you have problems with this because you're putting all your food into 2 or 3 meals, probably inside of, say, a 6-hour feed window. It becomes uncomfortable, to put it mildly, right? You end up getting an enormous pregnant belly by the evening. You end up being so bloated and so full that it hurts. It's uncomfortable. Okay, and because we do have that tendency to want to really eat hard once we break that fasting window, what ends up happening is, again, it's too much load for the stomach, too much load for the GI tract. Now, some people would make the counter argument, well, you could just not eat as clean and you could do white rice and all that. And that's a viable approach. However, herein lay the issue. I think some people are going to see where we're going to go with this. You better be really lean with amazing insulin sensitivity by the time you do that. Okay, so for the people who are not where they need to be yet, the problem is you're coming out of a fast. So understand what we mean with glycemic index. Glycemic index, we always say it doesn't matter because mixed food meals, it's only when fasted, blah, blah, blah. Right, and that's true. However, if you're doing 16 to 18 hour fasts, see where we're going? Let's say you do 18/6 intermittent fasting. You are fasted. So if your very first meal of the day after a fast, it has 1,000 calories of white rice in it. All right. The insulin response, the blood glucose response is extreme. All right. Here's where I'm going with this. This could affect insulin sensitivity over time if we're not careful. Also, the fact that in that case, the same thing happens, that you get sleepy. So the other problem with that, when you take that approach, you have to go take a nap almost. So if you've been fasting and you eat a really high GI meal, the melatonin production, the shift in blood sugar, all these things, it tends to knock you out. You get a case of what they call the itis. For those of you who know that term, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. If you're from the South, you know that term, the itis, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, you get the itis. All right, it basically means it's like a food coma. Well, that's kind of what hits you. So the problem is, if we're going to do carbohydrates as a primary, and we have a high energy turnover. Now, you're a lighter person with a lower metabolic rate and you haven't built all that up yet, you get away with it just fine. All right? If you have built a foundation of muscle and you do cardio and you have, you need over 3,000 calories, 3,000 plus calories a day. For women, anything over 2,500, men over 3,000. All right, this turns into a problem because you're kind of stuck with two choices here. You can either eat the really clean carbs, which is ideal, and then you're going to have gastrointestinal distress in the evening, and bloating and gas and all this stuff if you're not careful. Or you can get the itis. You're going to be sleepy. You're going to get that massive rush. Again, and on the second one, barring unless you are in extremely good shape with amazing insulin sensitivity already, in which case, by all means, carry on. All right, so by and large, what does this bring us back to? Fats, healthy fats, lots of healthy fats. All right, just why when you guys see a lot of the meals I've been doing lately, you're like, man, Coach's over here doing meat, avocados, omega-3 eggs. Because what I have found is this allows me to get a very significant number of calories in during my feeding window. Okay, it lets me get these in without the same distress because the food volume is lower. Because I'm still going to eat fiber and stuff. There's going to be vegetables in there. You guys see all the spinach and the avocados. And so what I am attempting to achieve then with this is no GI tract distress. And because I'm going to do the fasting, because the fasted training specifically, the fasted training is really what's been helping me the most in getting leaner. My training's fasted, my cardio's fasted. You know, everyone's like, Blaha, yep, got lean finally. He's not a fat power lifter anymore. Well, that's been one of the biggest keys to doing it. And so I feel like if we're looking to really have a viable approach to being strong, being jacked, doing my whole dad bod type transformation, I think that combination works. A healthy low carb diet, not a junk food low carb diet. Okay. Again, think steak and avocados, not bacon and butter. All right. Think steak and avocados here, and then omega-3. Omega-3 fats are great. Load omega-3 fats like crazy. Healthy fats. Plenty of vegetables, tons of protein. All right. With the fasting, doing your training fasted if possible. Okay. And I think that works best for this approach. There's nothing wrong with evening training. You're getting up early and doing all your training fasted. Man, it goes a long way. It goes a long way with this. Because I do my lifting and my cardio both fasted. And that's really helped take me to that level, that next level, and it's continuing to do so. But getting the right foods in, and I feel that combination works because then you can function. You don't deal with any spikes in blood sugar, melatonin production in the middle of the day, any of that, and everything stays stable and level. Particularly with that high protein, because again, that's something I pointed out. The ultra high protein with the fasting is the key. The carbs versus the fat really isn't the key. We're just looking at what's practical here. The real key to the body composition change is the heavy protein loading with the fasted training first. Okay, that's where the magic happens. And it's not breaking calories in, calories out. It's manipulating it to your advantage. But you have to fill in the other stuff. You've got to fill it with carbs or fat because you're not living on just protein. Okay, you're not living on just protein. So this is why I am leaning more in the direction of this approach. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.